You know, watching the absolute calamity that is Snow White unfold over the past year or two, I'm reminded of those dudes up in the lookout tower on board the Titanic. They spotted the iceberg looming ahead of them, telephoned their warning to the bridge, even though they probably could have just shouted. I mean, it doesn't look that far. And now there's nothing they can do.
What's the word, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. You are now tuning in to Wait a Minute TV with your host, Jay Wade. Y'all see the title? Let's get into it.
Except watch as their shiny new boat plows straight into 100 million tons of frozen water. Uh-oh, the insurance company's gonna be feeling the pain tomorrow. The point I'm making here is that anyone with even a surface level understanding of the film industry, plus legacy entertainment journalists who like to pretend it still matters what they think, has known for a long time that this movie was headed for absolute disaster. Whether it was the baffling casting choices, the laughable DEI parade pretending to be dwarves, the nightmarish CGI monstrosities that replaced them, the hypothetical star whose complete inability to shut her mouth quickly and efficiently turned her into one of the most toxic celebrities in Hollywood, or every piece of official media released about this film getting ratioed so far into
I ain't gonna lie, referring back to one of my earlier videos, 1 million dislikes on a YouTube video is crazy. Let's continue.
oblivion that it practically formed its own quantum singularity, vanished out of space and time, and emerged on the other side of the universe, Event Horizon style. The warnings were all there, and they've been discussed at length by every content creator on YouTube, but now at last we have come to the crunch, dear viewer. The last few days before the movie releases, when the old PR machine has to grind itself into high gear and take on the seemingly insurmountable task of getting people enthused for Snow Whites. And well, I think it's fair to say they've got some hurdles to overcome. Hurdle the first is the dire box office predictions, with the film expected to make just over 50 million on its opening weekend.
I ain't gonna lie, for anything Disney, 53 is on the very low side, considering the budget is probably more than 53 million. Knowing it's a again Disney project.
Which is only slightly higher than the Marvels managed, and that movie eventually struggled up to $200 million worldwide.
You play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Yes, Brie, I want that. I want that with all
Y'all see
my
her
heart.
That's
Not
crazy.
very good for a film with a reported budget of 300 million.
Then I'll say it. Opening 53 million, budget 300 million. Come on, gang. What we talking about here?
Hurdle the second is the widely reported spat between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, because they clearly have very different perspectives on the whole Israel-Palestine issue, which means it's hard enough to get them to even share the same room, never mind go through the kind of excruciating, fawning interviews where they clutch each other's hands.
Not gonna lie. That right there, and don't get me wrong, I love both of them in Wicked. I actually do like Wicked, which is contrast to popular belief, but I actually went to go see the play. This whole run that they did for promoting their movie was always weird to me. Just weird. Like weird, bruh. And I know I'm not the only one because I've seen a whole bunch of people say it. Like, their chemistry was weird, bro.
And pretend to be soulmates or whatever, which seems to be expected at this point. Damn man, all we're missing is some guy who sounds like he uses sulfuric acid as mouthwash to ask them about the gayness level of their movie.
The gayest Marvel project yet.
You know, the kind of big questions that clearly need to be asked about the art of cinema.
Yes.
But the biggest hurdle, and this
Right,
truly is a
irrelevant
biggie,
to the
is that the
movie.
film isn't even getting a traditional premiere anymore. It was reported a couple of days ago that the film's intended UK premiere in central London has been cancelled because of fears about the backlash to the movie and its star.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How?
Like, we didn't expect it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was slightly anticipating the movie, but to completely just give up on the premiere. Yikes.
Terrible. Oh no.
And to be honest, I can totally understand why they did it. The potential optics of Rachel Zegler and the rest of the cast getting publicly booed by a big crowd at the premiere of their own movie would be the sort of thing that goes viral within a matter of minutes. The problem is, this is kind of like digging one hole to fill another, because cancelling a major premiere means less publicity, and less publicity means less interest in the film. It's also a very public acknowledgement that yes, people really don't like our movie because we don't know how to win them over, and all we can think to do now is run and hide. That was all bad enough by itself, but then the news broke yesterday that even the film's US premiere is being drastically scaled back, which means no red carpet event, no real media presence, and no chance for the stars to speak to journalists and promote their movie. Red carpet events are actually pretty important media tools to promote your film, and the fact this movie isn't even getting one is a major sign of Disney's lack of confidence in it. Again, I can totally understand the thinking behind it, because let's be real here, putting Rachel Zegler in front of a hot mic is a bit like putting a toddler with ADHD in charge of a nuclear launch button. Every time she opens her mouth, and by God, she loves to open her mouth, you can practically feel the Disney bean counters dying inside because she just shaved a few more $1 million off the film's box office. It's funny actually, because she even tried to spin all of this backlash into some kind of weird positivity, a bit like Henry Cavill did with The Witcher, except without the sincerity, or honesty, or respect, or charisma, or general likability. Quotes: I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it, and what an honour to be able to be part of something that people's so passionate about. We're not always going to have the same feelings as everyone around us, and all we can do is give our best. Bullshit! Really? That's an interesting change of heart you've had there, Rachel, considering your...
Hell no. Hey, shout out the Critical Drinker, man. This man be over whooping, bro. Like, for real.
previous attitude towards people who think differently from you?
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Right.
The thing is, hiding a problem away isn't the same as actually solving it, and the more you retreat from a controversy like the one swirling around Zegler, the more you're forced to acknowledge that it does in fact exist, she's the one who caused it, and you don't know how to fix it. If you demonstrate a lack of confidence in your film and its star before it even releases, you're sending out the message that you know it's gonna suck, and you're simply trying to hunker down and minimise the damage. And wow, this movie's likely to cause quite a bit of damage, not just to the concept of live-action Disney remakes, but...
I'm sorry, but every time I look at her, bro, I'm like, yo, who thought it was wise to cast her? I don't know about her acting chops personally, but just looks wise. Y'all really thought she looked like Snow White? Okay.
To the company itself. At this point, it probably would have been better to just abort the theatrical release altogether, shart it out onto Disney Plus and take the financial hits. At least that way, Disney could make up some obscure combination of viewing metrics to spin it into some kind of success. This film had the most number of minutes viewed on a Thursday afternoon for any live-action remake of an animated film made in the first half of the 20th century. Instead of being confronted by the raw box office numbers, which, well, aren't looking good. Shit man, it probably would have been cheaper and easier to remove Zegler from the movie altogether and reshoot all her scenes with a new actress.
It's Hollywood.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm asking. Why her? Again, out of all the actors, I don't know, man. I said it in my last video. But
oh well, just like those guys in the lookout tower watching that iceberg drift closer, there's not much more for us to do now except sit back, crack open a couple of cold ones and wait for impacts. Something tells me it's going to be an entertaining couple of weeks.
It really is. Yeah. This movie comes out what? Next week? A week after that? One of those? Out of all, I'ma just go ahead and say it again. Shorty funny looking, man. The queen looks better than her. I mean, Gal Gadot bad. Like, we just gonna put that out there. Gal Gadot is a fine specimen of a lady. And yeah, her looking better than Snow White is unacceptable. That's like my biggest gripe. Next to them using all CGI characters for the actual dwarves, like, bruh. But the fact that they didn't cancel just says, again, it speaks volumes to the production on this. Don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if there's something that they could do later down the line to get better with this, but honestly, Disney's been doing a lot of I kind of want to damn near borderline say unnecessary reboots, live action reboots of their original content. Like we about to get a Lilo and Stitch, and that was one of my perfect personal favorites as a kid growing up. And they doing a live action reboot, and I don't know. It's almost like every time they do a live action reboot of these movies, it kind of takes away from the essence because I don't believe they're putting enough effort into the right aspects of each movie. Like I think that if it wasn't rushed, because a lot of what they're doing is seemingly rushed. If it wasn't as rushed and it didn't feel like it was just a quick cash grab on IP, uh, I think that it would be a lot more, thought out, and it would look better altogether. But a lot of these look like quick cash grabs, and they look like they're not drawing out the essence of what the original movies gave. Snow White's no different. So with them canceling, it's just like, yeah, Disney is definitely time to panic. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Please hit that thumbs up button, share and subscribe. And until next time, YouTube fam, I'm out.